Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI coordinator for the City of Appleton.
And I'm Andy Anam, the communications manager for the City Hall.
Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as you can learn more about our community.
And today we have another incredible guest with us. So, Timber, why don't you introduce us?
All right. This week's guest is Pastor Mahnie. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, Pastor Mahnie.
All right, Pastor Mahnie. And Pastor Mahnie is the executive director of B.A.B.E.S, Inc. Child Abuse Prevention Program. All right. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
In the Fox Cities.
Yes, it is. It is. And we're not even kidding. Like, today is gorgeous. So can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your association with Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities area?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. First, thanks for the invitation to join you and to be here on today. It's a great opportunity to support your podcast and to share information about B.A.B.E.S. And to share information about B.A.B.E.S. I'm sorry. The thing that brought me here to the Valley was a job. And so I know, of course, I no longer have that job, but that's how I got here, for a job. And so I really thought I was going to be going to a different location in the U.S. other than northern Wisconsin. And yeah, that didn't happen, obviously. So I'm still here.
I've heard this before. I've heard this. I've heard these kinds of stories before.
Right. So I thought that, with the corporate track, you spend so much time in one spot, then you get to go to another spot and all that. So I thought that's where my life was headed at that time. But I believe God had a different vision. And so I'm still here in the Valley. Been here since '97. And I've watched it grow and develop and expand. And it's really good to see. And the community itself has become more welcoming and more friendly and more understanding for people who may not have grown up here 50, 60 years ago. And so it's very nice to see that growth and development within my community, my home, right? It could have been so much different, and it was different 30 years ago, but this is nice.
Yes, it is.
It's nice.
And lots of change has happened in that 30 years, because that's about how long I've been around here too.
Right. And here's a funny for you. So I'm coming down College to get here today, and the new traffic pattern has been implemented. So that was a shocker. I knew it was coming, but I hadn't experienced it yet. So.
Oh, you know what? I've heard a few people. Actually, I've talked to a few people today talk about that, because this was their first experience meeting with them earlier, but they like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Can you please tell us about B.A.B.E.S?
Absolutely. Absolutely. B.A.B.E.S Child Abuse Prevention Program, Family Strengthening Services. We have served the Valley since 1997. That's a long time.
That's a long time, yes.
Yes, that's you put in work.
I volunteered to be the executive director after the founder passed away unexpectedly in 2013. So I have now been serving 10 years in this role. And Dr. Mans founded B.A.B.E.S in '97 with the goal of helping young parents reduce their stress levels, because stress can lead to negative situations for children. And so B.A.B.E.S was born to provide respite care, counseling, and other supportive services. At this time, we have a little elevated somewhat the infrastructure to include Strengthening Families Workshop. That's a parent education course that includes a component for youth, for the children. And we have 3 levels of support. The first level is economic support, second level education support, third level emotional wellness support. And so within each of those levels, there are programs and services to assist our community members. And we do that all at no cost.
Wow. So you talked about the child abuse prevention program. So what kind of children comes to you? What kind of cases you see in the community which needs your help?
Good question. I want to make sure the community knows that we are proactive, and we are not the group that would receive children that necessarily have been abused and have gone through a lot of different things. Our goal is to not even get to that point. And so the cases that we see would be just young families, because we target really young families. We see the young parents who don't have traditional level of support, maybe they're just looking for diapers when they first call us. Like, oh, I heard you have diapers to give. Well, let's talk more, because we typically give those out to registered active families. Maybe you would be a good fit for B.A.B.E.S. So now I can welcome new families that way if they're just looking for diapers. We've received referrals from doctors' offices who know about us. It's not called CPS anymore, right? It's called Children, Youth, and Families. So we receive calls from that group, and it's not a case that's really recordable, but it's something that I see someone who needs some support. And then our nonprofit friends within the community, they'll go ahead and reach out and say, I've got a case I'm working, and this family could use your help. So places like VITA, Reach Counseling, Pillars, Harbor House. So our neighbors, our friends, our nonprofit peers will reach out to us as well.
So do you get also a lot of requests from the teenagers, like, because it's a child prevention, but it has a huge age range. So do you get those requests as well?
I have received recently, within the last couple of months, I think it was a phone call from a 16-year-old. And like anyone else, any other organization in our community, we are short-staffed. Ideally, we would be visiting the schools to talk to the children, the young people who are school-age parents, the teenagers, ideally. So at some point in the near future, I'd like to be able to go do that outreach and make sure that we're having those conversations.
That's great.
So yeah, we want that group.
That's amazing. Yep.
Yeah.
And I can't think of that's a pretty important group to make contact with, especially if you're trying to be on the preventative end of things. That seems pretty important. What else does B.A.B.E.S do? Because I feel like there's more services.
Very much.
Since I've had the opportunity I'm a little informed because I've had the opportunity to come. You've been kind enough to invite me in and tour me. I know there's more.
Yeah. So when I talk about the economic support tier, there are 3 segments in that support level. So support number 1 is respite care. So respite care is that positive time away. We offer that to our registered families, active registered families, so that they can take a positive break. So the kids need a break from mom and dad. Mom and dad need a break from little people. And so that's just a healthy time away. And when the children come, they get to own the space that we have prepared for them. And they absolutely love it.
So what kind of activities are planned for them?
Well, number 1 is free play, right? That is number 1. So then there's free play, and then depending on the age, they may just play with stuff that's sitting out and go pick and choose. But yesterday, for instance, we've got a family that has 4 children, all boys, 1 set of twins.
Wow.
3.
Whoa.
They're great. And so each of them, they do their own thing, And so one of the middle person, they're picking like puzzles and this game, like we have a little bowling game. So I want that one. Okay. And now I have to bowl with him.
They need a playmate.
Yeah, I was the playmate. So no problem. I will do that. So respite care, that becomes that healthy piece. We do free play, tabletop activities. We do want something structured like that. And then I cook. So we make sure they have a good meal if we have time. But yesterday, time got away from us. So we only had a snack with that family. But once that happens, then we can go outside. So we can choose. My second family yesterday, we chose, it was like, do we paint or do we go outside? So I gave them the choice. Yeah, they love to paint and they love to go outside.
So what I'm really hearing is like, not only are you managing the program itself, but you engage personally
Mm-hmm.
with these families
Mhm.
and these individuals.
Absolutely. That's key. Number one, we're short staffed again, right? So I need to do that, and I don't mind. I think it's important. And so the families, it's important to me that they know their children are safe.
Yes.
Because leaving your children with someone is sometimes scary. And even the first time that we engage in that process with a new family, I know that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's scary. And so, Timber, when you see me at the office, I'm in my uniform, my operations uniform. Even though I'm the executive director, that means I'm working, basically working the floor.
Yep.
And I don't mind.
Hands on.
Hands on. We've got to do it. The kids. So when I grew up in Milwaukee. I think Timber and we talked about how much we have in common. So grew up in Milwaukee. And so one of the schools I attended, I remember key things, right? We had hot lunch,
Mm-hmm.
hot breakfast. I remember the cook. I remember the scents. I remember the food. And so when I think about that as an adult, I'm thinking my children at Babes, they should have that same message and memory. So if I'm cooking, they should smell that.
Those good memories.
Exactly.
You don't
Those
forget
are
those.
nostalgia. Nostalgia.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there any additional info you feel that it's important for the listeners to know?
I think so. Very much. So there's maybe three things. Number one of our partnerships is with Fox Valley Tech and the Women's Fund. And so we are partnered with them to help execute Starting Point every year. Every academic semester, let's put it that way. Every academic semester, Starting Point takes place. And that is a workshop for women to get back into finding a career, going back to school. And really, we try to break down barriers and walls for that. And so women with non-school age children, they get to bring their children to class with them. So Babes gets to host the Appleton cohort. And so those women come, and the women with children get to have their children in class with us. Well, in my classroom with the kids, and then the adults have their section so that they can study and learn.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love Starting Point. It's fantastic. Second item to share with our audience is, how do I say this? I think I have a plan for expansion. I have a plan. It's in my head mostly.
All right, that's fair.
Mostly in my head, but it's a good plan. And so if any audience member wanted to help support that, we'd love to have a conversation about what that looks like.
So listeners, if you want to support the organization and the wonderful work they're doing, it's time for you to contact Babes, and we will get all the information to you, because we will be going to that question pretty shortly, that how they can know more about the organization and know like which families qualify to go for Babes, and everything we want to know about the organization.
Yeah. We target, when I say young families, years ago when Babes first started, it was like age 22 and under, something like that. Now it's 27 and under.
Okay.
We will waive that for various circumstances, especially with Starting Point women.
Sure.
That's waived, but we do want to focus on younger. But if you're 28, 29, 30, give me a call. Let's talk. Let's figure out what's going on. We can probably help you a little bit. You know, you need a size 5? Maybe I have that.
That's for real, for real. Can you share a narrative that will help our listeners understand the importance of Babes?
Well, I'm a pretty softy at heart, and so when I start thinking about some of that, it kind of gets me emotional. So I have to choose a story that won't get me emotional. But I'm thinking of a couple of things. So when we do our distribution of care packages, so every month family can receive care packages, and so that's, the value could be $30, $50, $60 depending on the size of the family. Personal hygiene items, household cleaning items, and so our goal is to help them save money. So about a year ago or so, no, a little over a year ago, during the care package distribution process, I'm probably doing too much, but I make sure I'm having a one-on-one conversation with families because we don't get to see everybody all the time. But during distribution, I get to talk to families and see how they're doing. And this one person, this one parent, her initial reaction was crying, boo-hooing, just as we're greeting one another. And it was just mind-boggling. But stuff was happening in her life that was just beyond comprehension at that moment. But I'm so grateful that we were able to just be there and that I was available and that I took the time, because that's major. One stereotype that there is about B.A.B.E.S is that it's only for single, unwed women.
Mm-hmm.
Not true. This is a young, married mother of 4 at the time. But it was just life.
I know. The first step is to give a listen to them. I mean, it's so powerful at that point of time.
Exactly. So whether people need care packages, a little break, diapers, education support, family parenting skills and information, that's what we provide. That's what we do.
That's incredible. So are there any upcoming initiatives, events, or engagement opportunities with B.A.B.E.S?
Very much so. And during the holiday season, we often are able to participate in a toy drive. So there's a toy drive that happens just for us with our major partner sponsor, WHBY. Whoop, whoop. And so typically that occurs. When we receive those toys, then we have collection sites. So small businesses will say, yes, we'll be a collection site. So I want to open that up to our listeners. If you'd like to be a collection site for toys over the holiday season, reach out to me. We can welcome volunteers during that time as well, because we have to distribute those. We distribute to our B.A.B.E.S families, and recently, within the last couple of years, we've opened it up to the community, because not everyone gets a chance to meet other deadlines and other collection groups or distribution groups. So we need volunteers for that. I mentioned Starting Point as well. So we welcome volunteers for Starting Point. It's a dedicated day out of our operations on Wednesdays, and the class runs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so sometimes we need volunteers to hold babies.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Get your baby fix.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I've heard you mention volunteers multiple times now. If someone's listening
Mm-hmm.
and they want to be a volunteer, how can that happen? Who do they need to contact, or what are the best ways to reach out to B.A.B.E.S? How does that happen?
I would recommend one of 2 ways. One is we are a member of Volunteer Fox Cities, so you can locate us on Volunteer Fox Cities. So we do have a space in the Get Connected segment of that website. So we are locatable there. Second option is our website. There's a general email, info@babeshelp.org, but it's right on our website, so they can send a request that way.
And do you want to send some shout outs to your amazing members who work for B.A.B.E.S and make it wonderful as we are hearing about it?
Yes. Absolute shout out to my team. So Kayla, Alina, Ariana, those young ladies helped me very well this summer. We have some wonderful volunteers. Miss Savannah, she is fantastic. She is my co-facilitator for Strengthening Families. And so we do that. Plus she helps with other things. I would like to shout out to our donors and our supporters, those folks who like and share on Facebook and social media. That's a huge help. So we really, really appreciate that. And so I'll ask the listeners too, please like our social media pages, please follow us, and please share us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Mahnie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, listeners, please take a moment. We would like to reach out to you and say, hey, let us know how we're doing. Feel free to email us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. Let us know how you like the podcast. Let us know how we can improve the podcast. We are a work in progress. We're coming along, though. We feel this is a pretty special thing that's coming together. We're still early in the process, but we're going to get better as we go along. Also, feel free to reach out to us if you would like to be a guest, or if you have an idea for who might be a great guest for Appleton Engaged. We'd be happy to reach out to them and see if there's an interest to be on. Also, to help us out so more people can learn about us, please subscribe to this podcast. Take the time to subscribe and leave us a review. This helps to raise our analytic profile so more and more people can find us.
Thanks, Timber, and that wraps up another captivating episode of Appleton Engage. Thank you, Pastor Mahnie, for sharing your inspiring journey with us. And I ask the listeners to please support these organizations who are doing this wonderful work in the community. Remember, no act of kindness or support is too small. Thank you.